Thanks so much, guys, for joining. I'm going to host the session for you guys today.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
All
There
right.
we
Okay.
there.
Yeah, we can see you now. The clouds are gone.
Cool. I was all
Can you
blurry.
hear an echo? Because I can hear my voice. Uh, okay. I think I figured it out. Okay.
Is it better now, Mohit?
Yes, it is better. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Perfectly fine.
Awesome.
All right, we have pretty much an audience to hear you guys today. Really would like to see your insights initially for all the advancements happening, particularly for Einstein, for AI plus data plus CRM, and what's going to happen around the corner from the development perspective. People do want to hear that. So I'd love to have your thoughts first, and then I'll take it up to the audience if they have any questions.
Sure.
Perfect. Sure.
I think the very first one that I would like to start is basically from the generative AI perspective, Mohit and Philippe. Where do you guys think if the development and the custom development side of Salesforce is going to stand after all the enablement and the enhancements that's coming around the corner and everything that we're hearing, people afraid of losing their jobs, which is not the case. And that's why we're here, just to make sure that, it's for the sustainability, definitely not to replace humans. So I think my very first question would be around how you find generative AI being a pillar to the modern custom development in Salesforce.
Okay. Mo, you want to go first or should I?
No, you can go first, Philippe.
Cool. Well, the way I see it right now is that we're just at the start of the journey, and the capabilities are only going to increase as we go on. But it's already a good start, especially for small companies who don't have a lot of developers, and so they can get started and go into customization. And prior to that, it was very hard to them to get into like advanced customization. And as the technology will mature, I think we can use it for more and more complex use cases. For now, we're really scratching the surface. It's the prompt generation for Einstein for developers is very limited. It's only Apex, but soon it will encompass all of our technologies. So it will go through SOQL. It will also cover lightning web components in the future. And when we'll have the full spectrum, well, it's going to be really a great way to start a project, especially around things like test generations, things like that, which are right now just barely appearing as a feature.
Yeah, I would like to add my perspective here. I think definitely it's gonna be enabler for sure. And also I think that, it's not gonna kill jobs. I am pretty certain about that because any tool, any generative AI tool, if you have used, right, you can easily see that if you're a developer with a specific skill set, you're gonna be always better in terms of at least the quality of the code. So it kind of we always say that there needs to be like a human in the loop, even though it can generate the code at this point, but there are a lot of other processes in the software engineering. So I don't know how it might turn into the future, like next 5 years when agents and things get sort of rolled in and AI kind of matures, right? But at least at looking at short term here, I see that human in the loop is very, very important. So I don't see it as a threat. One of the things that I kind of believe, just looking at all of the things that are happening, is like AI will not replace developers, but developers not using AI will replace developers. Without AI. So I think it's just an enabler, and everybody needs to be just aligned to learn how to use these new technologies and how they can sort of incorporate in their workflow to see if
Mhm.
that makes you efficient. But overall, I think my perspective is like it's, and also this is if you watch the developer keynote from Dreamforce, I think it made it like really evident that definitely this is going to be more than a job enabler than something that's going to take away jobs.
That's right. That's right. If you guys have any questions around that, I would really, yeah, please go ahead, Rahan.
With AI and automation rapidly approaching to our times, is there any more topics that, as a beginner, as a developer, I can look forward to work towards a roadmap?
So I think there are two things. Well, there's the automation part, there's also the code part, and both are really just starting right now. Maybe in the future we'll have even more options, like for example, designing automation, something like that, in terms of UX. But for now, it's really these two things that are ramping up. And the more we go, the more the lines are going to get blurry, I think, between the code and low-code solutions. So we can expect a lot of new features there. I don't think we have like specific items on the roadmap that we can share right now. Mo, maybe you. I don't. I don't. So.
Yeah. So roadmap, because this also sort of is in line with what we are working for Spring release readiness live, and that's something I started to look around at least. I don't know if I can share specific things here, but one of the things for sure is in the roadmap is like how can we provide like LWCs and Apex that can take in a prompt and call our secure gateway URL, or where you'll be able to call the LLM. So instead of like directly calling the LLMs, there is the whole security trust layer that we have built. So with Apex, you'll be able to call them also from LWC. So those are the features that are coming up actually in Spring 20. I think Spring 24 release of Salesforce, and you'll hear about that in release readiness live and things like that. Overall, I think I kind of just agree with the Philippe's response here. Like the I think we're just getting started with the journey here in terms of like the features. So more features definitely. But as a developer, right? I personally would still like learn all these tools and stuff, but I would still like sort of focus on the fundamentals of things still, because I think irrespective of whether generative AI does that help you there, or you want to adopt some of these tools, no matter any tool, right? You need to know the fundamentals. I mean, it's even to write like prompts within those generative AI tools, you need to know the fundamentals. So I would like also put effort as a developer to keep honing my skills and learning all the fundamental aspects of development and the process and stuff.
Thank you.
It's just still critical.
Yeah, I think the one question that I might have, Mohit, as a sort of as a piece of discussion is basically for all the Salesforce large language model LLMs that you're talking about. I think one of the questions that might come in one's mind is basically it's going to be at the end of the day, it's going to be the prompts game, like how you're going to train your data, how you're going to train the prompts. And I think in terms of making a prompt efficient, what do you guys think should be the most efficient way, uh, in terms of making a perception, making sure that you're writing the efficient prompts? Because as you said that 100%, if you're not going to adopt that, someone is going to replace you, because that's going to be the future. So just in case of making the prompts efficient, like you tell Einstein to write something for you in terms of the code, definitely it will take the language of the prompts. So what do you guys think is the most resources or study guide or anything, just an idea which can help these developers write better and efficient code, both predictively and then technically?
Yeah, that's a great question actually. I mean, the area that you're talking about is called prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is quickly becoming one of the skill sets, I would say, that everyone is trying to sort of learn. What is prompt engineering and how can they engineer their prompts, which you said is like, okay, prompts are nothing but instructions that you give to the AI. There are like, I would say, there are like 4 or 5 techniques. If in general, right? I mean, let's not just talk about Salesforce application development, but in general, when you're working with these technologies like GPT-4 or or GPT 3.5 or other tools that are out there in the market today, right? There are like five or six general techniques, and you can pretty much Google today like prompt engineering techniques, and you'll find like four or five techniques. Some of them I can mention is like few shot prompting, chain of thoughts. So there are some patterns, like three or four, five patterns. Now every LLM, right, has its own like prompt engineering techniques, right? And I am still working with our team, Einstein for Developer research team, to find out, okay, what are some of those patterns, if they are, in terms of in terms of relevancy to the Einstein for developers. That's the tool that we give you to generate Apex code at this point. But future, it will be enhanced to LWC and all these technologies, right? So, what are some of those prompt engineering techniques? And we are still ourselves actually working on that. You will see more content on that from all of us actually, because that's one of the key areas that we have been asked to work. But the thing is, like, we are still working on that. Like, what does prompt engineering mean for the tool like Einstein for developers, right? So look for more content on that. But in general, if you're interested in these topics like prompt engineering, I would say in open source community there is a lot of courses, especially from deeplearning.ai, and that's one of my favorite courses. I went through that, and that teaches some of the prompt engineering techniques which are applicable for GPT technologies, right? But also in general, like how all these prompt engineering works, behind the scenes of like how they map similarity between the text that you send, all those like technical details, right? Um, also, also there are some blog posts. I think it came recently. One was from my colleague here, Julian, who couldn't make to the call in on the last moment, I think. But Julian kind of wrote about like how to like build your applications with LangChain, which is one of the open source technologies, and do some prompt engineering with your data, and also how you can contextualize that data within the large LLM. So do read out on that, but expect more content on this. This is an area of research as well. And honestly, for me, like I have been playing with the Einstein for developers, and then just coming up with my own like prompt engineering techniques. Like I know that this is a prompt that works, and then I probably create templates out of that. You would have seen some of the videos that we did, like live coding sessions. I did one of them is like how to write effective prompts. So you can see how I've identified a couple of techniques. Like for example, if you feed to the prompt your object model name with underscore underscore c, it pretty much understands from there that all the fields that you have in that object. So those kind of techniques, I have to like formally publish that, and still working with the product team here.
Yep. What Mo said, I would just add that beyond just the prompting part, there's also the grounding, which is important, especially since you're likely going to write code which sits next to other code. So it's going to be your job when you write your prompts to refer to the other classes or other services that are part of your code base, so that you don't reinvent the wheel and try to regroup at least meaningful functionalities together. So the human still has an active part in this process. There's a bit of an architecture role, but still needs to be there. Like if you need a specific helper class, you need to place it in the right helper method, you need to place it in the right class. So it's your job to do a bit of grounding and tell Einstein where you want those things to be generated, or if you want something to be reused, things like that. So you have to be smart about the way you write those prompts. It's just a matter of knowing the context yourself. And I think you went on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a couple of questions. I'm just deciding which one to give the mic first, but I'll give you the thing. Yeah, please go ahead.
Just my 2 cents on this. As you mentioned that AI won't replace us, but definitely someone without the AI knowledge would replace.
Yeah.
Would get replaced, right? So as far as his question or your question is concerned, that AI has this job that it would give you something, right? But it's your job to validate whether it's giving the correct thing or not, right?
That's right.
So prompt engineering would definitely give you something out of something, because because it has some of the data.
Yeah.
But eventually, it's your job to validate whether it's giving you the right data or not.
100%. It's like definitely our job at the end of the day to make it intelligent enough that it can produce the results that we are looking for. And 100%, I agree with Mohit and Philippe on this thing that now it's the time when you guys start learning, big data models and how basically LLMs are set up, because that's going to be the future. So other than just making sure that you have all the lines of your epics class covered, it's the right time that you guys focus on the bigger picture and see that how you can utilize Einstein in order to create the most efficient code. And that's going to be again on you. The more intelligent prompts you will be able to write, the more intelligent responses you'll be getting that can help you make your job faster and efficient, of course.
So
Yeah, and yeah, sorry, go ahead, Philip.
no, I just want to say something very simple. If you're just starting and don't have any knowledge in prompt engineering, you're probably going to need 20 prompts to get to a result. But if you learn bit how you can write efficient prompts, you can probably get the same result in a single prompt. So this is going to be a matter of speed and accuracy when you want to generate content. Really.
Yeah, and also it is also a matter of knowing things. Like for example, if you don't know about Apex development, I don't think prompt engineering will be that helpful. Like it's like think about like using internet, right? I mean, you can put a Google search term there and get all sorts of results, and then you might find hard yourself to decide which one, right? This is also pretty much simpler. I mean, the concept is almost similar. I would say, like, you will put a prompt, but then it will give a response. Now, is it the right response that you need? You have to decide, as someone said there, right? You have to be decide, and the only way you will be able to decide whether that's the right code or not is by yourself, like, skilling on that particular technology and knowing ins and outs of the technology. So I just want to say that there is no shortcut here. Yes, you can
Yeah.
use AI to speed up your work, learn about a tool or a technology. Like someone who doesn't know Apex, right? You can ask different prompts, get all these responses, try to compile the code and learn, right? But ultimately what I want to say is, with even all these technologies, I one of the conceptions that I'm getting is people are like becoming too much dependent, saying you don't need to learn fundamentals. But the reality is, prompt engineering and these LLMs and AI tools is going to be more beneficial to you if you already know a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Shams, we have a question in the room.
My question has already been answered by Mohit, but let me say it anyways.
Sure.
Um, my concern with this is that the LLMs need a large amount of data, and the large amount of data normally is using the old or the you can say the previous versions of the code that are going to be obsolete in a couple of years, and it kind of pushes you toward using that code unless you know if it's outdated or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to work. That's
Of
the problem.
course.
When you use it, it will work, but you have to know that it's outdated.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the case with the AI. I mean, you go to the Trailblazer community, and there are some people who are still suggesting workflow rules to automate the thing. So it's just like it has to be you and your brain efficient enough to see that where exactly and what exactly has been generated in order to do the prompts. Just one thing here, Mohit and Philippi. Last year, Salesforce did announce the AI LLM for the development perspective, which was Gen Code, and
Good one.
we are hearing all the news about it that Gen Code 2.5 is now going to help us set up the Einstein for the development side of the stuff. So where do you guys see that landing? Another product, another license? How it's going to fulfill the dreams of the developer of making their jobs easy?
Yeah, very relevant question. And this is something that is already in the pipe from our content perspective. Like Alba is already, she already produced a blog post. It's just a matter of we publishing that. Code Gen 2.5. Right? Code Gen is a family of large language model for program synthesis. So it's open source. There's no like, you can read about it. If you just search for Code Gen, you'll get into the GitHub repo where you can read about how they built Code Gen. It uses what 750 GB of GitHub data, like public GitHub data, mostly around languages like Python and Java and JavaScript. You can see that it's all public information there. what we have done is we have taken that code gen 2.5 model, right, which is basically an open source model, right? But then you need to add all the things, like for example, you have to fine tune that for Apex developers, right? For Apex, so that the model is, responding to Apex prompts, right? I mean, it's giving Apex suggestions. You need to fine tune that model with Apex. So the team customized that, and added like all the security aspects to it. There are like 4 or 5 things that are done on top of that. So, and then we have got this Einstein for developers, right? So CodeGen is its own, think of it, its own open source thing, right? That's out there. If you're familiar with LWC, I can relate to like LWC OSS, right? LWC open source, you can use that, build your own application on any stack and things like that. And then we have our own managed version of that we control and give you the abstracted code, which is LWC based components that has all the things you want. So similar concept, right? Code gen is like open source, it's out there. If you want to like take that, fine tune it with whatever patterns you want, you can. And or just use the model as it is. You can, for program synthesis, that means generating other languages including Apex. But we provide a managed service which is more secure and which is more customized to the Salesforce developers.
Yeah, it's really platform agnostic, really. And what we do is bring the integration in VS Code, Code Builder, and all that stuff, plus security, as Mo said. That's really what makes it different. And we don't intend to sell it as a separate product. It's going to be part of the platform, really.
Thank you. Any other questions from the hall? Yeah, please.
I just have a question regarding design languages. So I know we are right now talking about prompt engineering and LLMs.
Yeah.
But in Salesforce, is there any future of having UML treated as an input or any design language that you can think of, and code would be automatically generated?
I guess that happened already. So we are doing it with Canva, Mohit, right? Mohit
Yeah.
and Philippe. I guess that's in place. That's not really efficient enough for being that much publicly GA that we call as generally available in Salesforce terms. But this Dreamforce, we had a chance where basically you just write or draw something on Canva, right? And then you hit Canva for Salesforce, Canva for Salesforce. That was the one, and then it basically generated that whole Canva design into HTML and into the coding language. So I think it's there already. Maybe if I'll have a chance and I have you in this Slack channels, lots of that we have currently. If I'll have you, I'll share those resources with you. It's a pretty cool thing that we saw at Dreamforce 23, but it's there. So it's not just that, they're not thinking about it. They have it in their mind, making sure that, the designer and the UI UX side of the stuffs are being kept sustainable and being equally entertained. I guess Canva for Salesforce is still there, and it is doing that sort of a stuff that you just talked about. It's generating the code for the Canva designs that you're going to produce. Any other thoughts on this, Mohit and Philippe?
I personally am not aware of this. I have to brush up myself and find out which team is actually building these kind of capabilities. So
I know it exists for any third-party technology, so I'm not surprised that it's also part of the Salesforce ecosystem. But yeah, I haven't also played with it. So.
Yeah, okay. At Dreamforce 23, they were just like a Slack booth, a Canva booth, where basically those sort of the stuff was happening, and it was pretty exciting. So just as a roadmap, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen very soon. It's not just a development perspective like LWCs and Epics, also the thing. Yes, Shams.
I hope it's going to be easy to debug or tweak.
So how about the debugging frameworks, Mohit and Philippe? That's what basically the question is.
Yeah, I think it's a good one, because what we see right now is actually content generation, whether it's a flow generation or code generation, but we don't see anything yet on the maintenance or debugging side of things yet. So that's logically the next step that we should tackle. But again, we're just in the beginning, so for now it's going to be fairly manual, and obviously you can see that this is going to be a concern as we generate a lot of code, a lot of content, we need to be able to accurately debug it. So, and I'm sure that AI is going to help us by looking at common mistakes or common patterns. It will also help us also generate tests automatically. So I think it's all going to converge there.
Yeah. What I know is the test, at least the test generation part, is sooner in the roadmap. Um, and also another thing that's there in the roadmap is RAG based implementation, which means retrieval augment generation, which with that feature, basically more grounding will be done than what the model does today. Yeah, debugging, I agree. It's definitely one of the features that would love to see, right? We will convey the feedback to the product teams about the need for, like, being able to like take debug logs, suggest some of the solutions and things like that.
All right. There's just one correction that I would like to make for the question. It's Figma for Salesforce. Figma, not the Canva. Sorry.
Figma. Okay.
There you go.
Figma for Salesforce. That was the one.
Got
All
it.
right, then. If we have any other questions, we have Mohith and Philippe. If not, then I don't think that we should take the further time than the committed one. We're good? All right, then. Thank you so very much, Mohith and Philippe.
Thank-
You guys rock. Thanks so very much. Pleasure having you here.
Same
Pleasure.
here. Thank you for inviting. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
so
me.
much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Alrighty. Let's run the raffle. Right in time.
Yeah.